We close anywhere from 3 to 4 clients paying us $3,000 to $5,000 per month, and we can even predict it by having a reliable acquisition channel that is completely nailed down, so there is no guesswork. I know where we will be in 3, 6 and 12 months from now, and I know exactly what input I need to put in order to get there. Having big goals is great, but without having any logic behind them, it is very unlikely that you will reach them within the time frame that you have set, because you do not know how much and what input you need to put in order to achieve the output on the other side. Let's say your goal is $1 million revenue in the next 12 months, and you go completely Napoleon Hill and Bob Proctor beast mode, writing down your goal of $1 million all the time, and look at that shiny business card in your inner pocket, and you visualize the nice girlfriend you'll get and the nice Porsche you'll get once you hit the magical $1 million. I learned the hard way that hitting big goals requires more than yelling in the mirror that you want to be a millionaire. It's time to break down exactly what you need to do in order to hit that goal. How many outreaches do you need to do? How many booked meetings do you need on your calendar? Of those booked meetings, how many show up? How many booked meetings do you need to close one client? That is exactly what we found out in my marketing agency Magna.io, but I want to address that you obviously need some data before you can predict this. I know that we are getting a 5% reply rate on the emails that we are sending out to e-com and SaaS brands we want to get in contact with, and roughly 10% of those are positive, and of those 10% we're getting roughly 50% of those booked on a call. That means that 10% of 5%, which is 0.5 people out of 100 on a meeting. So in order to book one meeting, I need to send 200 outreaches. And of those 200 outreaches, we have an 80% show-up rate, so 20% will just book a call and then just ghost us. I know, that's just the name of the game. Some people are not nice. Hang on. So let's scale up the numbers and do the calculations one more time. So let's say that I am sending 1,000 outreaches per day, and 5% of those reply, which is 50 people, and 10% of those are 5 meetings per 1,000 outreaches. And then you need to subtract the 20% no-shows, meaning that you are booking 4 meetings for every 1,000 outreaches. And now you know that. The next step is taking a look at your close rate to figure out how many meetings we need on your calendar to close one deal. My close rate is 33% on a cold audience, which is not the best in the world, but also not the worst. So I know for every third person that I book on a meeting that is qualified, I will close. In my case, I have a sales rep to take all my meetings all day, so I won't have to sacrifice my own whole day sitting on sales calls from morning to evening. And his close rate is 24% on a qualified cold lead, which is also decent. We only take deals in for plus $3,000 a month, so less people are qualified, and of the people that we book on the calendar, 25% are qualified. So every 4 days a week, we close one client. So let's figure out how many outreaches we need to do to close one client. For every 1,000 outreaches, we book 5 meetings with 1 no-show, and of those 4, 1 is qualified to work with us, and we need 4 of them on a meeting for my sales rep to close 1 of them. That means to acquire 1 client in Magna.io, which is my agency, I need to send 4,000 outreaches. You can probably see how I now very easily can predict exactly what steps I need to take in order to hit my goals every month, quarter and year. I need to send 16,000 outreaches to close 3 or 4 clients. Seriously, breaking things down like this has helped me a lot, knowing exactly what steps I need to take to hit my goals. I always go way and beyond what my calculations are, because there needs to be margins for error. So I'm sending far more than the 16,000 every month, because there is spam, bad leads, blacklisting and so many things that is somewhat out of my control. You've probably guessed that we are using cold email to send this amount of outreaches every single day. And we use that because it has the most leverage when it comes to doing outreaches, because we can set the system up once and send out a campaign and send it to thousands of people, and we won't have to spend our manual time doing it. In comparison to so many outreaches where you need a lot of human labor, you need to hire virtual assistants to do the outreaches for you. There's so much bullshit whenever you're handling employees, and I recommend, based on my experience, to keeping your team lean and always use softwares instead of employees if you can. So taking a look at why I love cold email so much. You can basically reach out to the CEO of Coca-Cola by scraping his email, and if you offer something that they in reality are looking for, he'll get back to you, or one of his managers will. Probably not after the first email, but you get the point. It's very easy to personally reach out to anyone in the world. Taking an example, last week I reached out to a billionaire CEO of a major travel health insurance company because I wanted him to guide me in the right direction when it comes to scale my business, and he got back to me within 1 day. Do you know how crazy that is? You can directly communicate with people who has more money than you can fathom just by sending an email to them. Another reason is that you can set up a cold email software once and it will keep sending out emails for you on autopilot without you literally having to do anything. I use instantly.ai for this, so use my link in the description and save 10% off lifetime every single month. The first time I realized how big of a time saver this is was when I got up in the morning and it was a habit for me to send 100 voice messages on Instagram per day and 20 looms. I did not have to do any of that anymore and I was sending out far more volume with cold email. I'm only spending 5 minutes per day doing outreaches, and I would like to be humble to say that I'm probably far more competitive than most of you guys out there. So pick an outreach method that you can set up once and it will serve you forever without your constant input. In my opinion, you have two choices if you don't want your scalability to be a logistical HR nightmare: ads or cold email. And with ads, you are fighting to get your prospects' attention versus 20 other big agencies whom has 1000x more capital than you have. You also need a very good brand already, since people always check out your backend before they consider responding back to you. Studies have shown that people need to see your ad with a frequency of 21 times before they are provoked to take an action. Imagine how much different content you need to shoot in order to catch their attention 21 times. And then here is the last point. Once you finally find something that works, Facebook mysteriously shuts down your ad account because the algorithm detects something that is not aligning with their guidelines. My friend was literally doing ads for a car dealership and they shut down his ad account and Facebook profile completely because they detected pornographical images of an ad he made of a Fiat 500. So let's go over to the beautiful outreach method that I and 85% of other professional marketers use to acquire clients. With cold email, there's not much BS. You scrape your niche's emails from a software like Apollo, StoreLeads or OmniLeads, or use a virtual assistant to do it for you. You can then set up a campaign with some beautiful handcrafted copywriting, and then you launch the campaign. You don't need some fancy social media page where you have to post every day because your prospects will not even check it anyway. If you have something that they want and you prove that you've done it before, they will respond back or automatically just book a meeting with you. You can be a guy in India selling high-ticket packages to $5,000 per month through email. Your face is behind the screen and no one can see you. We've used this as the only method to acquire clients for the past 3 years now, besides referrals. Once you learn a sales channel like this, it becomes surprisingly easy to scale because everything becomes predictable. We've made it our mission to post tons of content on building a business that you're not a slave to, how to outsource and automate it, and how to build an acquisition channel that books more meetings on the calendar than you know what to do with. If that has any value to you, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. It is to you my team and I are making these videos, and I am personally responding back to every single comment myself. Back to the billionaire I communicated with via email. He owns the office that I rent, and he had a conference telling his story, and one thing stuck with me. If you don't know your numbers, you're fucked. No ifs, no buts, you're fucked. And from that time, I pretty much made it my mission to know my numbers in and out. I'm outcompeting any other email marketing agency out there when it comes to volume and quality of our cold email system because I know my metrics in and out. I'm scaling in the speed I need to scale in order for our backend to still deliver amazing results for our clients. I know where I am in 3, 6 and 12 months from now. You probably started digital entrepreneurship because you wanted financial freedom. Getting financial freedom requires growth and profit. What is your cost per acquisition? What is your cost per book call? How much money can you spend on acquiring a customer and still be profitable? If you want to predictably scale and actually have some logic behind it, consider figuring all of this out.